Patanjali's Yoga Sutra provides us a roadmap on our yoga journey, and also they can be your roadmap on your mindfulness journey, because that's what yoga is about. It is about disciplining the mind. My name is Aparna, and I'm determined to talk about this connection between mindfulness and Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. So in today's video, I will again repeat some of those Yoga Sutras that we have discussed before and maybe go into more in depth and maybe add a new one. So in the 5th Yoga Sutra, Patanjali says that Vrattaya, Panchattaya, Klishta, Klishta. There are 5 types of thought waves in the mind. Or you can say there are 5 types of vrittis or misconceptions, because everything that we see or we don't see, the main thing is how we perceive this world. And we learn in mindfulness about our perception. How we perceive the world is what causes pain, suffering, stress. And can you guess how much we perceive the world affects our mind? 90%. But the actual experience can affect only 10%. So how about letting the direct experience just as it is, without adding stories from the thoughts? So when Patanjali is talking about those 5 different types of vrittis, vrittis are the thought waves in the inner perceptual space, then he is giving them certain name. So in the 6th Yoga Sutra, he says, Pramana Viparya Vikalpa Nidra Smritiya. So first one is Praman, means seeing correctly. So that's your direct perception. And then Viparya means error. So when we see someone and we say that, oh, this person did this, and then we add a story, so that's error. And then Vikalpa, and then imagining things. So we always go into future and imagine. Mind doesn't like to be in the present moment. So it imagines, daydreams, and things like that. So that's what we learn in mindfulness, that how to bring the mind back into the present moment and not always be lost in our imaginations. Then he says Nidra. So Nidra is also a vritti in the inner perceptual space and in the mind. And in science, we know that when a human is sleeping, that doesn't necessarily mean that the mind is doing nothing. Mind is busy sorting out all the stuff that happened during the day. So this Nidra period or sleep period, so we learn a lot of meditations like body scan, if they're done before sleep, or any other meditation that's done before sleep, how it calms the mind and let the mind do what is needed to be done in the nighttime. And then he says Smritiya, so past. So Patanjali emphasizes this 5th type of vritti, which is Smritiya. Smriti means basically memory. So when we go into past and we remember all those things, good or bad, that affects our mood. And in mindfulness, we always talk and learn about how not to let the mind wander around in past, because past is over, and everything that needs to be done or can be done in the present moment. Even if you want to learn something from your past, how about consciously calling those events and reflecting or contemplating on your past, but not getting unconsciously lost in it, and bringing your mind in the present moment always, and not letting the mind wander in the past or future. So the goal of our mindfulness journey and mindful yoga is not to stop these thoughts, because thoughts will always come for future, for past. But to teach and train the mind as much as possible, build those new neural pathways, because we know from the science that neurons that fire together, they wire together. So that means rewiring the brain, neuroplasticity. And with this neuroplasticity, you can build new pathways, and your mind now has learned how to be more in the present moment experience. And there are various exercises, especially when I teach MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction. We do so much training on that. So the next Yoga Sutra is Pratyakshanumanagama Pramanani. Insight arises from direct perception. So when we are directly perceiving, if there is this globe, it is there. Yes, it is there. And I'm not adding any story about it and looking at it as it is. So direct perception and conclusions, learning that are based on reliable sources. So when we say scientific information, evidence-based information, that is pratyaksha, that which is right in front of our eyes, that which is directly seen or perceived. So Patanjali gives this type of vritti as number one, which is pratyaksha. Pratyaksha. The rest is not happening in the present moment, but this pratyaksha, which is direct perception, something that's right in front of my eyes, that is present moment experience. So in meditation, during mindfulness, we learn to keep the mind in the present moment, and we have object of awareness that we pay particular attention to. And Pratyakshanumanagama Pramanani, that was our 7th Yoga Sutra. So what is Anumana? Anumana, that which comes from the intellect. And do you remember when we talked in the first Yoga Sutra and the 2nd Yoga Sutra? We said that the mind has its own 3 faculties, and one of them is manas. Manas is the recording faculty. So manas just takes in everything. It doesn't judge. It has very much non-judgmental attitude. It doesn't differentiate good, bad, beautiful, ugly, or painful, not so painful. It just takes everything in. So manas, and that which comes from the intellect, is anumana. So when directly something is there, but what we have stored in our manas, through that a conclusion will be reached. And now we know Patanjali wrote all this 2,500 years ago or even longer. And now through the science of the psychology, we know that subconscious mind stores all the information and add stories to our direct perception. So on that basis, we make anumana. Anumana means we come to a conclusion. Oh, this. So yeah, this is a globe. I have a name for it because it's stored in my mind. And I know that there are different countries that are visible on this globe, or the person who is in front of me, depending on what they have done, what they have said, usually your mind will come to a conclusion and start to judge this person. Then agama. The next line on this Yoga Sutra was agama, learning from reliable sources, testimony, documentary knowledge. So the knowledge that cannot be challenged because it has a proof, it has evidence. Then pramanani. Pramanani is insight from pramana. So the proof or the evidence give pramana, and then we have accurate perception. And that's what we want in mindfulness. We want to have accurate perception. If pain is there, yes, the pain is there. without any added story of what happened last time when I got this pain, what will happen in future if I continue to suffer with this pain. So no added story, but just the accurate perception of pain or pleasure. And that comes from direct observation. Direct observation of what? In mindfulness, we learn it's the direct observation of mind, direct observation of body, direct observation of sounds, direct observation of thoughts, direct observation of people. And when the two of our perceptions do not contradict each other, we call it proof. So Patanjali in 7th Yoga Sutra is trying to explain that what we directly perceive, that we say is 10%, and then the perception of what it is 90%. So we destroy our direct experience perception. So he's saying that usually we would be lost between what is directly there and what is stored in the manas, in the subconscious mind. And if they are conflicting with each other, then the mind is boggled and confused. But if they match with each other, then we feel at ease and we feel quite comfortable. So we will come and talk more about Patanjali's Yoga Sutra and its application on our learning from mindfulness. This is what we will continue in future videos as well. If you like it, then please subscribe and share with other people who are on this journey of yoga and mindfulness. They might appreciate this sharing. Namaste.